Hey guys, this is Dr. Hub. Today we'll look at the standard errors. The standard errors and the related aspects. So first we will be looking at the sampling errors. So they are referred to as the natural expected random variations of data. It's natural, expected as well as the random variations of data, and they are not errors per se, and hence the mean of the same always differs from the mean of the total population. The mean, it differs from the mean of the population. So example is considering a population with a mean weight of 75. So population, you say it has a 75 mean, and if you take a sample of 500 from this population, the mean weight of the sample will not be exactly 75. So we take a sample of 500 people, so we can't expect the same 75 mean. This is what is meant. Next is the random sampling distribution of means. There is random sampling distribution, and this is of the mean. So in terms of random sampling distribution of the mean, it is also known as the aka resampling distribution. It is also known as a sampling distribution. So what does this refer to? So this refers to the distribution formed. This is nothing but the distribution formed, and this is when all possible sample means from the population are plotted. This is when all the possible sample means from a population are plotted in frequency distribution, Next is we look at the sampling distribution. So that the sampling distribution, it provides information on how different these samples are from each other and from the population mean. How different they are from each other and from the population mean. So the example being the hemoglobin level of 100 randomly selected women. So in terms of women in city, and we are selecting 100 random, and the sample mean is calculated. So this is done every day for a year. So it is done every day for 1 year, and with the same sample size but different women each time. So you use a same sample size but use a different woman. Use a different woman each time. So if all the sample means of the hemoglobin levels of a woman are plotted on frequency distribution, so if all sample means of hemoglobin levels, they are of a woman, hemoglobin levels of a woman, they are plotted in a frequency distribution, and they would be called as a sampling distribution. And it would resemble the normal distribution. So let's look at the central limit theorem. So as per the central limit theorem, it is according to the theorem as the sample size increases. So as the sample size, it increases, the sampling distribution tend towards a normal distribution. The sampling distribution, it tends towards a normal distribution. Shape. And also assuming all samples are identical in size. So assuming all samples are identical in size. Next is the sample mean and the standard deviations become closer. The standard mean and the standard distribution, they become closer. They become closer to the population. They become closer to the population mean and the standard deviation. Next, we are going to look at the standard error of the mean. The standard error of the mean. So, standard error of the mean is nothing but a measure of the extent. It is a measure of what? Of the extent. So, the measure of the extent at which the sample rate deviates from the true population mean. So, the standard mean, it deviates from the true population mean. So, the standard mean deviation, it deviates from the true population mean, and it is nothing but the standard deviation of the sampling distribution. It is nothing but the standard deviation of the sampling distribution. So now let's look. So in first there can be a sample, this sample. So this means closer, means closer to the population, and it means the lead to lower SC. So it means to lower SC and narrower and thinner. Is lower SC and narrower and thinner distribution curve. Next is in terms of more variation. There is a more variation in the sample means. Sample means this leads to a higher SC or a broader curve. This leads to a higher SC or a broader curve. So the SC is equal to the standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. So the other way to write it down will be this. So SC, if you see, it is inversely proportional to, inversely related to the sample size. Sample size.